I hear this phrase a lot, and there's something, and I'm sure we've talked about this before, but like especially, not just in Christian spheres, but like in general, but often I come across this in church spheres where it's like, oh, if you're anxious, you just need to pray more.
Yeah, pray it away.
Oh, you can't be, if you're depressed or if you're anxious, it's, you don't have enough faith, you're not a good enough Christian.
Yeah.
And I think that I have come across this Max thing before, and the initial response for a lot of people is like a little bit cynical. Of course, be anxious for nothing. That's easy to say.
Yeah.
But like, I think maybe something that I'm picking up in hearing this story, that it's actually not about just choosing not to be anxious.
No.
But it's more about that open posture to inviting the presence of the Spirit and that calmness.
Yeah.
To help with
Correct.
that anxiety.
Because
not to get rid of it.
No. So
and not just to be like, oh, it isn't consequential, it's inconsequential, it's not something that you should worry about. No, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Acknowledging that it's a real thing.
Yeah.
But being open for that to be eased, for that to be made less difficult by the presence of God. Or however, if you're not a Christian, if you're whatever, like all different expressions of spirituality, or not spirituality, or
meditation,
whatever
you do,
whatever your jam is, being open to something else helping you cope with it, not actually just ignoring it and pretending that it doesn't exist.
Because by saying be anxious for nothing, when your amygdala is firing, when that bitch, Amy G as I call her, does her thing, I love you, Amy, but sometimes you just try to alert me to things that I really don't need to be anxious about, you know. But when the amygdala fires and you are launched into fight or flight, there's not a lot of hell beans that you can do about that, Jonty. So by simply saying be anxious for nothing, Philippians says be anxious for nothing, I don't find that helpful at all. It's actually, you've got to call, it's bigger than just thinking it, you've got to actually evoke it by calling God to help you, to calling out to the Lord to help you. So I can do it for anybody else. So if I'm sitting with somebody and they say, Ness, I'm just really anxious, I say, well, I'm going to pray about that for you right now. Let's pray about that now. And we can call God in to come and be a salve and to settle the amygdala and settle your fight or flight and pray over that. And often people that I'm with get that beautiful relief. But I had never done that. I suppose not never, but I forget to do it for myself. I forget to call on it myself. So, and I think only because I'd been leading this Bible study, I thought, I'm going to give this a crack. That'll be a good story. Next Bible study, tell them how it rolled. You know, and
prac lesson.
Yeah, prac lesson. That's right. And it was quite extraordinary. It's not like it was an equation, and I won the equation by achieving something, but it feels like I actually exercised something that God says to do. I can't believe I'm saying that as a minister. That's really...
No, but that's really honest. I think that's really
very bloody honest. Yeah. I know.
Yeah. Because I think as well...
Such a dodgy rev.
No, but we've talked about this before when we had that episode. We've been talking about angels and the Holy Spirit a little bit over the last couple of months. And I think it's actually... If you think about it in a real practical sense, it makes complete cognitive sense to me that if we are to assume theoretically, and from a purely theoretical standpoint, if you go, okay, let's take for granted that angels do exist, right?
Yeah.
It would make complete sense that people see and experience angels, whatever they are, through their own subjective lens in a way that makes sense to them. Because if we understand angels as something outside of our physical reality, something that is of the spiritual realm, then it would make complete sense that for, let's say, Ness is drugged up and in a confined space in an MRI machine and freaking out, and Amy G's firing on all cylinders.
Her shit. Yeah.
It makes complete sense to me then that spiritual element would then appear to you in that way, in a way that you are able to perceive and experience, right?
Yes.
As opposed to I don't know, a physical person standing in the other room looking after you. You can't see that.
No.
Like just like any of the other technicians or doctors that are there in that room. What use is that to you in a intensely subjective experience? You need something intensely subjective to encounter. Is that kind of like, do you know what I mean?
I wonder if people would say, skeptics, would they say it was just my brain doing survival?
Sure.
Probably. Yeah. That's what they'd say.
But also, what's wrong with that? Like, that's my question.
Yeah.
And that's also not mutually exclusive
with
the reality of the spiritual realm, I would say.
It's clever, isn't it?
Let's indulge the other, like the skeptic side.
Yeah.
If angels aren't real, what's wrong with... Like to me, I hear that story and it doesn't matter whether or not angels are real.
Right.
The rest of that MRI, you had that sense of calm.
Yeah, that's right.
So in terms of your experience and getting through that really, really anxious, traumatic, I'm assuming, difficult experience, who fucking cares if it was quote unquote real or not? It was real for you and that had a real effect on your experience, right?
And my psyche, it was
that's
extraordinary. Except that it was real.
Well, yeah, and as Christians, we understand that, right?
Yeah, that's right. I wish I was so articulate that I could describe it and paint the picture better. And I kind of wish that people could experience what I experienced, because then you'd believe. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, but I also think that was only your experience.
Yeah,
and other people's this is why when we talk, like, for example, when Jesus performs miracles and he tells other people not to, the people that witness it or the people that receive it, don't go tell anyone. Because are you more likely to believe a guy saying, "Oh, that dude over there, he got healed by Jesus," or Ness or me telling someone that you had that experience? Are you more likely to experience that, or are you more likely to experience to believe that, or are you more likely to believe something that you experience for yourself? Right?
Yeah.
So I think it is actually really important and really necessary and really helpful that those experiences are intensely subjective. Because if it was objective, then there wouldn't be any faith involved in that. You just go, "Oh, that's a thing." Like gravity and like sunlight, we can see it, and so sorted.
Yeah,
that removes a lot of the mystery and the leap of faith involved. I don't know, and I don't want this to come across as I'm dismissing your experience, because I think that's incredible.
Yeah,
but I think for other people to believe and experience those things, it needs to be theirs.
I hear you. Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. Yep. I hope others that are listening can have an angel experience and not have to do it through the lens of an MRI.
It's something a little bit less traumatic.
Yeah, that's right. I was telling a girlfriend of mine who is a Christian, and I was telling her about it. She rang to check in on how I was, and the next day, and I was telling her, "Oh, Leanne, angels turned up." She said, "Oh, Ness, tell me about it." And I told her the story, and she said, "I have always wanted angels to turn up, and I've never seen one." So, and she's an artist, and I was we've had Leanne.
We've had her on the show. Yeah.
And I was telling Leanne about this image that I could see with my eyes closed. You know, it was quite that's miraculous in itself. Do you know what I mean? It was really vivid, and she said, "Oh, I'm actually really jealous that you've had that experience." And I said, "Mate, don't be. I'll tell you what you've got to do. You've got to fucking ask." God says just ask, and I will give you what you need, you know. So just ask the Lord for, if it's an angel that you want, ask to see an angel. And I wonder if he'll give you what you need.
And interesting, what you need, not necessarily what you want.
Always what you need and not what you want.
Yeah.
100%.
Because I identify with that.
Yeah.
With Leanne. I've never had that experience.
Have you asked?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know, but I haven't had that experience, possibly because I haven't asked. But that, to me, I go, I don't know if that is what I need.
Right. Okay.
Maybe it's not. Maybe that's why I haven't experienced it. I don't know. But also, I kind of force myself not to have a strong stance on it, because I have. It's like people that haven't read. I'm going to call out some friends of mine if they're listening. They'll know who I'm talking about. Having a stance on To Kill a Mockingbird, not having read it.
Yeah, well, they've got
that book
comment.
sucks. It's so boring, and like I know it's meant to be culturally significant, but I didn't finish it. But like it was just well, you didn't finish it, so you don't fucking get to
shut up.
So for me, it's like I've never had that experience, so it's not for me to speak critically about. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's.
Thank you.
Well, and I hope that I've been a validating witness to your story because
100%. You always are, brother.
Because it's not mine or anyone else's place to have anything to say critically about an experience that you had subjectively.
But it could sound a bit cray-cray, couldn't it?
Yeah, of course. But me saying that I cried rewatching Interstellar on Sunday night, to some people they go, well, that's fucking stupid. Why are you having that experience? Doesn't make any sense. So
when was that? On Sunday night?
On Sunday night. Well,
the only problem with that, stop right now.
Yeah.
The only problem with what you just said was is that you weren't watching fucking Dancing with the Stars, mate, on Channel 7. What is your problem?
Do I look like someone that would watch Dancing with the Stars?
You need to, so we can talk about it, John D.
Okay.